truth in lending, we said there are certain things that if you say this, then you trigger. There's only one triggering term, and that is APY, or annual percentage yield. If you state that, then you trigger these things on page 28. Obviously, the annual percent Y has to be spelled out, and then variable rate. If it's a variable rate, you must just state that. Your rate can change. This letter B is a lot about a little. We got to get into the weeds here, but it's how long is that rate effective? And so there's a couple different ways to approach this. You can say it's as of a certain date, or it's offered through a certain date. Now, I'm going to highly recommend to you that you always say it's as of historical. If you say it's offered through, you might be fine, but then you're locked into offering that. You don't have to promote it, but you're going to have to offer it. And I've seen people that said, we want to do a Valentine's CD, and then we're going to offer that through the end of February. And you have an overwhelming response and you want to shut it down. Well, you can't. You don't have to promote it anymore. But as long as people come in and you said through the end of February, then you're going to continue to give that. You can't pull the plug on it, if you will. If you said this is as of tomorrow, you can change. And that's, to me, a management thing that you may want to do. Now, if you're going to say as of, then we get into B1, the specified date. It must be recent in relationship to the publication. Remember in Reg Z, we talked about recent was like 30 days or 60 days, things like that. Here, they're saying it depends on the publication. So if you're printing it in a brochure, it talks about that as long as it's within 6 months, that's fine. Daily newspapers or on TV, within a day. So it depends on how you're promoting it. So this is where it gets kind of crazy, that if you have like a daily newspaper or a weekly newspaper and you're putting this ad in there, you're gonna have to update this every week or every day saying it's effective as of this day. Well, there's a way around that, and that is B, Roman numeral 2, you reference the date of publication. You say the annual percentage rate is the annual percentage yield is effective as of the publication date. As long as the publication date is on the publication, like a newspaper, I'm looking at the newspaper, your ad is down here. Up top, it says that here's today's date. The APY is effective as of the publication date. Okay, tomorrow, we don't have to offer that. That's a lot about a little. A lot of banks get cited for that. Going through these triggering terms, you mentioned APY, you trigger 3, minimum balance. Notice let me go a little further. Notice in that C, and if it's a tiered account, you must give each tier and the corresponding APY. It's not okay just to promote the 100,000 tier. If there's tiers at 1,000, 10,000, 50,000, you must state that and give each corresponding APY. Letter D, minimum opening deposit, but only if it's more than the minimum balance to get the APY. So it could be that you have 2 minimums, one to open, one to get the APY. Letter E, fees can reduce earnings. You have to say that anytime there's fees. Now, a time account has an early withdrawal penalty. That's a contractual issue. Letter F, that is not a fee, it's a contract penalty. So on your CDs, you don't need to say fee for, let me try again, fees can reduce earnings. And on your non-CDs, you don't need to say early withdrawal penalty because that's not what we're talking about, right? There's 2 different things. So on your non-time accounts, you need to say fees may reduce earnings. On your time accounts, you need to say a penalty may be imposed for early withdrawal and the term.